Welcome. We are back. It's been
a month.
Pretty much a month. Yeah.
Sorry. Not really sorry, but not sorry.
We had
again.
shit going on.
Life, man. There's a lot. We have a whole month to unpack, and we've done a lot of things, as you can tell and see. We have a website. Thank you, Dustin.
We do have a website.
A pretty website. We have a logo, which will change eventually.
Yeah, it's not going to stay.
We got yelled at by his sister.
Who is an artist. That's the only reason she was yelling at me.
Why did you use an AI logo?
When you could hire someone to do it.
Like her. Oops, sorry.
So the website is thirdeyeSailing.com. And if you just type in Third Eye Sailing in your search bar, it should come up.
Right on the Googles. Yeah. It's the first thing. I clicked it. I did it.
There's some cool stuff in there. There's a bio about Haley and I. Our two separate little bios. There's a little snippet about the boat, some pictures. I will be adding more pictures. I don't think I've done an Instagram tour yet. We might eventually.
An Instagram tour?
Of the boat. Like
a video.
Yeah.
Oh, like a live.
Well, I don't know about a live.
Okay.
But just like a...
Yeah.
Like a reel or something. Or maybe split it up into a couple different parts. I think once we start living on the boat, we might do that. Because then it'll be more... Maybe.
It's not real, but it's like once we're living on there, then it's like, then we have arrived.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
at the goal.
That's what we've been working toward. The important things on there too are so we are now Amazon associates.
Yep.
So
affiliates. If
you go to any of our links that we've posted on the website, I don't know what's it under.
If you click the hamburger menu in the top right, you click affiliate links, and it has our link to the Happy Earth website, because we are affiliates for them too, and it just has a blurb about what to use our code. I couldn't get the proper store thing to work for them, so and then below we have all of our Amazon links. So,
and we will be adding more. This is like stuff that we use. You'll see.
And refining it and like all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I think we split it up into like categories of like boat tools and like things that you've used.
Yeah, I think we split it up like boat stuff, health and beauty, and like household liveaboard stuff.
Blue Land for days, people. If you've ever heard of it. They're all about like zero waste plastics, and like we've been using their stuff for like all-purpose cleaner, bathroom cleaner. We had like the toilet tablets, like they have everything, and now they do like body soaps and they do hand soaps, and you can get like a little starter kit. I mean, it's all on Amazon now. So if you go, we have a bunch of the Blue Land links on our website that you can click from there and go get. I mean, they're affordable, and they work really well, and they smell good, and they're cruelty free. They're vegan. I mean, it's got all the things. So go for it, Blue Land. I mean, that's like my favorite thing as far as household stuff goes. Mm-hmm. That they pretty much stand for everything that we're trying to do too. So, along with lots of... I don't think we put those on there yet.
What?
Well, we use a lot of soap bars.
Oh, yeah, we haven't yet. We will, though.
But, like, with these links, you don't have to buy what the link actually is. As long as you use the link in 24 hours, that helps us. So, help us, help you, help the show. All good things. So that was before we went on our trip.
That was That was before. That was like right after. I think pretty much right when we came back from Susha.
Yeah. Yeah. So we have what else here? We have a lot to cover. Why don't we do a whole month's
month highlight lowlight?
I know. Maybe do it like one or two things.
I think we might split this, but anyway. Highlights.
So think of like the first half of the month. We did nothing.
We really didn't do anything. I'd say highlight, I think, which we've talked about already, is the website. I mean, that's pretty big. And it's gonna evolve and it's gonna grow. As we evolve and grow as, a podcast and maybe a brand and all that kind of stuff. So I could see that definitely growing. Especially if we do merch. Eventually, like our own like branded stuff, then we'll need like an actual store and all that kind of stuff. So the website we're using now is now, but it'll evolve and change.
And you'll see it change with us.
Yeah. Another highlight.
Or do a low light and we'll tease shit.
Low light. I paid a lot of money to fly across the country. Yeah, I paid a lot of money to fly across the country.
His brother got married.
That's not the low light. If you're listening, that is not the low light. The low light is...
We're going to have to tippy-toe.
The low light is that it costs so much money to do anything nowadays. It's ridiculous.
To do anything.
Yeah.
But to buy food, to go in a car, to go see your family. Like, it's just... what... The economy is just in the shithole, and we all know it. But when you're really trying to do things like normal people things, and you're on a budget, it ain't fun.
No.
Like, I keep thinking to myself, like, how do people do this with kids? Like, how do you do it?
I don't think they do. I really don't think they do.
Just anything. Yeah. Anything in life. Mm-hmm. If you have kids, I don't know how you're functioning. Congratulations. It's not happening over here.
Nope.
That was your low light.
Yeah.
We'll go. Yeah. We'll leave it at that for now. Oh gosh. Well, okay. Highlight. This is kind of jumping ahead, but I did see the Barbie movie with my mom. That was, if you haven't seen it... What? Spoiler free. Yeah. Spoiler free, yes. You'll definitely go see it. It's definitely worth it. Great message. It's funny. It made you laugh, made you cry. Very clever. It's definitely going to win an award. If it doesn't, I'll be very surprised.
Riot in the streets.
Riot in the streets. Literally. Just, there's some people that will get it, and some people that won't, and some people that will be very upset, and we're calling them brainwashed now. If you've seen the movie, you get it. I'm laughing with you. Low light. Oh, this is gonna be a toughie. I'll keep it over here in this timeline. So we did go to we had our table for my jewelry at our little jazz festival here in town. And so busy, so many people.
Lots of people.
no one really bought much of anything, it sounds like. And I think I sold one bracelet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of how it was for everyone, though. It seemed like everyone wasn't really...
They were there for the music.
Great. Yeah, everyone was there for the music, not there to buy our stuff.
Yeah. I mean, that was our first bigger festival with the table there. And it's just... Lots of people came and looked and touched and messed things up. But it's lots of crazy conversations. Yep. Met some nice people. Met some really interesting people. Yep. And we got a rock as a gift that had a face on it. Right? Yep. Mm-hmm. The rock people. Yep. Write in if you know what we're talking about. Yeah, that was the low light. It was just kind of just like July was like a kind of like not one for the books as far as selling my stuff goes, but lots of other accomplishments with the website and all that. But yeah. So I have a couple things here. We don't want to go too far into the rest of the month. We'll cover that next episode. But right now, it is currently a full moon. It is. It's already been a month. Like, we're already into a full moon. Yep. Oh my gosh, yeah, it was a month ago. Last full moon. Yep. Guys are back. So, what are you letting go of, Dustin?
What am I letting go
for the full moon? So that hinders you from reaching your intentions.
On the spot too. I love it. Letting go.
Let's start with this. What is something that you've been working toward? Personally. Something small. I love this. Would you like me to go?
Please. If you don't know me, which most of you don't, I do not like being put on the spot.
He just has the blank stare, staring into the abyss. Like, why is she doing this to me?
Thanks.
Love you. Oh my god. All right. So, well, there's so much. Okay. So, we came across this article, which you can assist me in explaining. This was about a month and a half ago, right?
Yeah, about there. Maybe even a little bit longer. I don't know. It's within this year.
Yeah.
Last couple months.
Yes.
I don't really remember when we looked at it.
So I just asked, I was curious, like, have you seen any news about, like, so my eye disease is called Stargardt's. You have the, technically.
Yeah.
What is it called? Retina pigmentosis.
Retinopathy.
Oh, retinopathy.
Of prematurity.
Okay, we are never doing YouTube because this man rubs his face if you could tell, you can hear it the whole episode. I have to keep putting his arms down from his face. So if he sounds muffled, that's what's going on.
It's a habit.
It's a habit. It's a nervous habit. It's okay. We're working on it. We're growing.
Yes. Episode of tangents. That's what it is.
Where was it? Oh yeah. So the article. We were looking up just any latest news about like studies and cures, all that lovely stuff. So came across this article where it talked about using gene therapy, and there were very positive results with all of the people that were in the study. So basically, they're trying to expedite the research, the results.
Yeah, they got. Just the name of the company, I can't think of it for the life of me. but it's this MCO bioengineered gene drug thing that they got like elevated status within like from the FDA to basically like fast track their approval or whatever. So they're supposed to be releasing more info about a clinical trial sometime now, pretty much actually. It should be anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much it. And then so we see this, and I kind of go into this whole like spiraling existential crisis week of a lot of crying and a lot of thinking and a lot of just going all crazy with all these thoughts, like what would I do? Don't want to get my hopes up, but what would I do? And so my sister and I, because she has the same disease as me, we were talking about it today more. Because I guess I forgot to tell her about this whole thing. Probably because I didn't want to get her hopes up for anything. Because I'm a psycho. So, it just kind of led to this whole thing of where I've been... So I'm letting go. This is what it leads to for a full moon. Letting go of my fear of falling. So that could be, like, literally or metaphorically. Fear of falling, fear of failing. I'm just letting go of it. And when I've noticed that, so I've stopped using my cane as much, which may sound really irresponsible and stupid to some of you. But if you have as many bruises on your pelvis as I do from your cane stabbing you after hitting it on the sidewalk, you would probably say the same thing. So, I've been like less stressed about walking around, and it kind of just with talking to my sister today. Thinking about how many of the people in any group of disability or minority, it's almost like we're taught, some of us are taught at a very young age to be fearful based on what you have to deal with. So like I wanted to learn how to use a cane before I went away to college in a different town, which was like an hour and a half, 2 hours from where we lived. And so I wanted to be able to take care of myself as best I could. Okay, so I get the tools and I learn how to do that to the best of my ability. But I think along the way, it just became so much of a habit and for lack of a better word, crutch. Literally, like it was a crutch. And I guess I felt that I couldn't do anything without it for a really long time. And I understand that the vision is a spectrum. There's so many levels of vision, and there are people that do constantly need a guide dog or a cane to get them pretty much anywhere. I understand that part. But at least for me, I don't need it everywhere I go, necessarily, depending on lighting, depending on, I mean, how familiar the area is. So I've just been trying to get back to the mindset of, which I used to have, of if I trip, if I fall, it's on me. It's not on anyone else. But the worst that can happen is I get a few scrapes. Maybe I twist my ankle a little bit, but I'm gonna survive. And I have to try and live my life and try and be happy in every moment and not worry about hurting myself while trying to use something that's supposed to be helping me. Because that's what it's come to. Unfortunately. So, wow, that was a whole rant. So I'm letting go of the fear of falling. Yay! We'll see how it lasts. How long it lasts. Okay. Your turn.
Ooh, I gotta follow that. Very deep. Let it go.
You can be the comic relief if you want.
I think... I'm thinking about it just like when you were talking. The one thing, I guess, a start that I need to let go of is the... I'm trying to think
how to phrase it. Dead air.
No pressure. The need to want to know, maybe not want to know, but want to plan everything out for the next 5 million years. It's part of my green.
Your green aura.
That wants to, I guess, see the end goal, right? So wants to kind of plan out the end goal of like, oh, well, you know, I eventually want to be here and have this done to the boat and this done to the boat and this done to the boat and, you know, and have that end goal picture in mind. But I tend to obsess over the end goal picture in mind. And not live, I guess, as much in the moment as I should be. Just one of the things that our trip, I guess, really brought into perspective for me was living in the moment, and I need to do it more.
Wait, so, which trip?
Our trip that we're not talking about.
Not yet. That we just went on. Okay.
So, yeah, it just really kind of, I guess, was a wake-up call in that way of like, oh, I need to just kind of be more present.
I like it.
Yeah.
Let's see here. What else do I have? Oh. Well.
No? Is the rest of it all?
Well, really quick. I'll talk about this. And to see what your take. I was meaning to ask you today. So my mom and I, we were talking about light work. Did you hear this conversation at all earlier?
No.
Okay. So, and then I woke up and I kind of like had these thoughts right after you started work. I was like, I gotta write this down so I don't forget it. So, we were talking about it last night, I think. So, I feel like there's only two kinds of... Okay, do you know what light work is?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, so I think of light work like spiritual work in a way, but doesn't have to be the stereotypical like spiritual kind of like like volunteering at a food cupboard would be light work. Making it's totally like outside of yourself, making someone or something else's life better. Like it's a good
okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I feel as though there are two kinds of light work that are in our one or the other is in our soul contract. Do you know what a soul contract is?
I vaguely remember some other podcasts.
Some descriptions from other podcasts. Yeah. So soul contract, if we don't know, it's we all are here with like a to-do list of things that we are supposed to learn and do for others and grow within ourselves. Okay, fine. So Where was I going with this? Light work. Oh, yes. So, two kinds of light work. I feel like you're either a servant to humanity or you're an earth servant. I feel like you could do both, and both can feel great, but I really feel like you're only really called in your soul contract to one of them. And, like, you'll know what feels right and what doesn't. So I definitely think I'm an earth servant. Because, I mean, I've served people. I have helped people. I've done that stuff just, like, out of the, I don't know, joy of it. And the feeling of, like, what they feel in a success of learning it. Like, being able to help someone do that and share their success, that is a great feeling. But I know deep in my soul that I'm supposed to be here helping the earth, whatever that means. Like, teaching people about how to live a sustainable, eco-friendly lifestyle and not making my mark on this earth kind of like less, the fingerprint less. And we're trying to do that by living on this boat. And I think once we decided to do this, we automatically, like, something shifted. And a whole new thing began with us. This whole, I hate saying the word journey, but journey, it's so gross.
The journey of the destination.
Yeah, it's, so, the question for you,
cliche.
fucking cliche, I hate it, but it's, like, there's no other way to talk about this stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's so out there, and, like, I feel this stuff so strongly, there's no other way for me to say it.
No, I know. I'm just poking fun.
I know. So, for you, what do you think what is your thing? Are you an earth servant or a servant to humanity? And or experiences with both or neither.
I guess I've never really gotten much joy out of helping people. Not saying that people that do that are bad, or I guess, but I don't know. It's just not my thing. Like, food cupboards and food banks, like, great for you people that do all that stuff, but it's just not my cup of tea.
You don't feel the fulfillment like other people do with it. I get it.
So I'd say leaning more towards the earth. And even that's kind of a new feeling, I guess. I never really used to care either way.
What made you care? What really, like, do you remember any specific moments of, like, what, like, just kind of, like, hits you? Like, oh, I want to do something about that.
I think some of it with, like, recent years with, like, the climate, you know, all the news that's everywhere about, you know, the climate's changing, and, you know, maybe even a little bit, even the last, like, couple months, you know, it seems like everyone's, you know, making these headlines about how, you know, oh, you know, the North Atlantic is, like, the warmest it's ever been, and and, you know, I think part of it, too, is we're in an El Nino for the first time in 3 years. So we've been in, like, a cooling period,
This
so
is
to speak.
considered cooling?
Oh. No. A La Nina we've been in for 3 years. Sorry, let me get my terms right here. A La Nina we've been in for 3 years, which is cooler than average temperatures. The Pacific waters aren't as warm. You get into an El Nino, which is what we're in. We're starting to feel the effects of now. Is as the Pacific waters warms the air currents, all that kind of stuff. We get this intense, crazy heat. I think it's kind of a wake up call in a way. That kind of makes it scary in a way of like, is there really anything that we can do at this point? Yeah, and I think just the boat has kind of awakened it too, like wanting to be more sustainable, wanting to live, with the ocean that we're going to be sailing on. People will say, "Oh, the Puget Sound is not an ocean. It's connected. It's connected enough that that I think we really need to be conscious of what we do, how we go about our daily, even just like on a boat. I mean, you can't act like it's your house and throw your trash everywhere and make a mess. I mean, it really irritates me. As much of a mess as I love to make on the boat, I'm still pretty good about like not letting it get like in the water or on the beach or whatever, So I think that's really part of that sustainable. We need to be better.
Conscious.
And also too, like, I guess to bring it back, even a couple years ago during COVID when everything shut down. Do you remember this? So when everything, like, globally, we had that, like, what was it? Like maybe a couple week shutdown, right? Like people, like factories stopped because everybody stopped going to work. It was almost like that scene from Zoo, right? So you remember in Zoo the part where
in the show,
I think the show, but also in the book.
All right, you guys got to watch it. It's really good.
Yeah.
It's a good show and a good book too.
Yeah, the book's better. But there's a part, kind of spoiler, but it's fine.
It's fine. It's been out for years.
There's a part where they realize that they have to turn off all their like electronic devices.
Yes.
Right? Because of whatever's doing the stuff with the animals. They're like, what the heck's going on?
Yeah.
So basically they go almost back to the Stone Age in a way. And the atmosphere starts to clear. And like all this like good things start happening. And I remember seeing these news reports 3 years ago when everything was shut down. It was maybe about a month, I think. And then a lot of countries started opening back up and it was that whole thing of do we or don't we? And it was crazy. They were reporting like cities like China.
Like emissions were
like the emissions were the lowest they'd ever been.
The air was
like clear for the first time in however many years. Clearer.
And that's just like a few weeks.
And that was just a few weeks of like basically almost being zero emissions. Because people weren't driving. They weren't driving gas cars either. No one was out.
Yeah.
No one was doing anything. And it was kind of a glimpse into like
what it could be.
This is what it could be in a way. And it and then we went back to normal and now it's just okay, it's gone.
Yeah.
And everyone's all up in arms about it. It's like, well, we haven't done anything. There's stuff that gets done all the time and projects, and you see these articles about all this breakthrough stuff and all this new technology, and it's like I don't think new technology in a way is gonna fix our problem,
because there's so many other things that are hindering and red taping it all from really being available.
Well, and the thing is too, we're opening up the third eye of this episode, just to clarify if you haven't figured it out. But I guess going into more of why, people say, oh, electric cars and hydrogen are the future. Like, yeah, they're the future, but we don't need them 5 years from now. We need them now.
Like yesterday.
We need to stop our carbon output as much as we output. And at least here in the U.S., that's not gonna happen as fast as it needs to happen. Maybe in other countries it's happening. I know there's some of them. Is it like the Netherlands or Denmark? Like some of those countries, they're running off mostly renewable energy. And they've gotten rid of, like, I wouldn't say a lot of their cars, but they're kind of balancing it out in a way.
Yeah.
And
like, some people will say, like, oh, if you don't like it here, go somewhere else. Like, you're missing the point.
Yeah, that's not the point. And I think, like I was watching a TikTok, and they're saying, well, whether one person recycles or doesn't recycle isn't going to change anything. You're right, it's not.
But if we all...
all, as one people, band together and really, really start to, like, everyone starts to do their part.
To care. It starts with the caring. And, like, I don't know how much more we can make people care. I said this, I think, in the last episode with, like, the whales the jewelry that I sell. Like, I donate my 10% to Center for Whale Research. I can't make people care as much as I wish I could. But it's like they need to find that in them. Like, whatever relays it back to them, it's there. Unless you're a serial killer, you're not that heartless. And you think about the millions of animals and species and people that are suffering because of what we're doing to this planet. And if that doesn't make your heart sink a little bit,
Yeah. And then, we joke over here about, the 1%. Right? And they have all this money and they do nothing with it. And
as far as we know.
Yeah.
Like, we could be wrong.
There could be some of them that are, out there trying to save the world, but it seems like a lot of them are just
going in submarines.
Yeah, sinking themselves in the bottom of the ocean.
Sorry.
Or launching themselves into space,
Like, I get that part a little bit. He's trying to find us a new home. Because
we're killing the one that we're on.
Are we going to be able to live on this before we can, like, fix it? Like, I don't know. So I get that in a way, but it's like, can we try? Like, a little harder? Pass some laws? Do something?
And
joking.
Yeah. And I know that. Wow.
Water break.
Yeah, water break. Okay. That's better. That's fine. I know that, like, they're trying to pass all these things of, by 2030 and 2035, no new, whatever cars are going to be gas or diesel or whatever. And it's like, there was again, TikTok. TikTok is like the current thing, everybody. People that bash TikTok is just, it's how we get our news these days, And there was this climate scientist talking about, like, North Atlantic Current, and, like, all this stuff that we're noticing, like, the temperatures are, like, really warm. Part of it because of this, like, heat bubble that we've been in. But he was talking about kind of, like, what they're seeing. All these climate scientists that are trying to save the world are seeing. And we're going to be entering into our next mass extinction event. It's just the cycle of the planet. Normally, a mass extinction event takes over 2.8 million years. Okay? And I'm taking what he says with a grain of salt because, it's TikTok and it's also the news and it's freedom of speech and it's, your research could show one thing and it could be wrong. But he's saying that if we don't do something, drastically do something, that 2.8 million years could be condensed into the next 100.
It's the next generation.
and that's a mass extinction event is 75% of all life on the planet disappears in the next 100 years.
I think, haven't we already had a mass extinction in the Amazon?
We've been in a fifth for a little while now.
Oh.
Like, I think we've been in a mass extinction event for like a little while.
Yeah.
So, not to like, you know, doom and gloom.
Yeah.
But 100 years it's a long time, but it's not a long time. And to be honest, you know, people say it's not going to be us that fixes it. It's going to be our children and our children's children. But at the end of the day, it comes down to us to really start it. I mean, even if anything in the next 5 years, you know, I think we're at that point with technology that we can easily do something.
Well, then that whole thing came out with like, so, whoa, the last few things with like news on the aliens and like, yes, we're all aware that
aliens are real.
They have this. Okay, we're good there. So we have the technology right now to like reverse climate change, end poverty, like.
Oh, I didn't actually know that.
Yeah, I watched the whole thing, pretty much, that beginning guy. Not the latest one, I think last week that came out, but the one before it, I think. Yeah, like the one that was like trembling, scared to like say anything. Yeah, because he was basically being blackmailed.
Yeah, yeah. And then the most recent one that just came out, that was there before Congress. The three guys. But yeah, like there's aliens, they're real. And it's kind of crazy how much we don't care. We're like, oh, okay. But, you know, can you, I don't know, make our lives better, U.S. government? Like, thank you.
Somebody who has this technology, like, bring some good.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is why we have these people, these greens that are doing all of this crazy stuff. Like, come on. Yeah. It's we have it, it's right there. But that's where the red tape comes in, and probably partially the 1% of America or the world. What is it? Is it America?
I would think almost. I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to stereotype other countries, but I think Europe's doing better than we are, at least renewable and kind of energy wise. Okay. I feel like in a way. Yeah,
we have like a lot to catch up on, and we're pretty good with the whole accepting of people. Okay, you would beg to differ. It seems like
Logan.
We've talked about that before. Yeah. We're pretty divided as a fucking country. We all know that, but.
It's not about countries anymore.
No, I think we should just split up and become.
Well, I don't even know about that. I think it's a world problem. It's not a country problem. It's not a, the U.S. isn't pulling its weight problem, or this country's not. It doesn't matter anymore. You know, it's not up to just one country. It's up to all of us as a species to try to, I guess, almost band-aid or try to fix at least somewhat what we've broken. And I mean, they've shown all this stuff I've watched of like simulations of like what, like if we stopped like pumping carbon, it's not going to be immediate, but it would help. You know?
Yeah.
If not even maybe reverse it a little bit.
Give us some more years to work with.
So maybe we can find another hole and then go blow that one up too. That was our half an hour rant about Earth and how we feel, and it kind of makes me frustrated even watching the news about that kind of stuff, because it's like, yeah, we can kind of do our part, but there's not much, I guess, a single person can do. Really, the big thing you can do if you live in the U.S. is vote. Vote for those people that want to try to push that policy through and want to, try to drive our country up to where it needs to be. I don't want to turn this into a political thing, so I'm not going to. But vote for the right people, and yeah, we're gonna leave it at that.
And it's very easy to get discouraged and like, oh, there's nothing I can do. I'm just one person. But like, if we all said that, nothing would ever get done.
Yeah.
So we have to try and stay positive or optimistic and do what you feel you can do, and whatever that means, using Blue Land, using bar soaps, getting away from any plastics. I mean, that is something a lot of us can do. And that if we all could do that, that would be monumental.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's... Yeah, we're gonna keep talking.
A little longer.
This is what happens with 10 days of being around.
Not
that you
being
can't talk about this stuff. Love you guys, but anyway, so bringing into the whole plastic thing. I mean, that's something that at least here in the States, like some states are starting to really push for, getting rid of plastic bags, and really like most airports I think we went in, I think I saw like a water bottle fill like all around the airports. Even though they, peddle their, $8 bottles of freaking water, plastic bottle water, but
yeah, you can bring your own water bottles from home on airplanes, like into the airport.
You just can't have it filled before you go through security.
Yeah. You can fill it right up in the airport.
So, which, I mean, that's huge.
Yeah, it's so simple, but it really...
And there's, I can't remember the kid's name. The kid's a genius. He's like, I don't even think he's like 18 yet. He developed and built this device. Basically, it's like a big net.
Oh,
almost.
I remember you telling me about this.
And he's using it to start cleaning up rivers, start cleaning up, the Pacific garbage patch of plastic, right? We have these like mountains of plastic like in the Pacific Ocean. It's awful. Disgusting. He started like that's in full go ahead doing what it's doing mode. I think there's even one of the rivers. What river is it? Is it the Hudson? It's one of the big rivers in the U.S.
Mississippi?
No, but I remember they have the same kind of thing at the end of a river, like before it spills out into the ocean, and it's the same kind of setup. It's like a mini version of like the big like plastic catcher. And it basically grabs all the plastic that's in the river, all the water, and the fish and everything can all swim through, and they don't get stuck or anything.
How does that work?
Because I think they can also swim under it. Because it only goes so deep down in the water because the plastic all floats.
Okay.
Right.
Yes.
So none of it's going to be below a certain depth.
That's cool.
And it kind of all grabs it, and the cool thing about it, it's all automated.
It's all automated.
There's no people that run this. It does its thing. It grabs all the plastic. It goes up this conveyor belt, goes into these big dumpsters. And then when the dumpster's full, I think there might be a guy that has to come out and like with like his big barge and like swap the dumpsters out. But it can fill like, what is the number? I don't remember off the top of my head, but it was like an insane amount of plastic before the whole entire machine is like full. It's like, I think it's like 3 or 4 like giant, like probably the size of this room dumpsters.
Oh.
They're huge.
Wow.
And it's so many like tons of like plastic and trash that it's removing from rivers like every couple weeks.
See, we don't all have to be geniuses, but whoever can do things like that, go do it.
And then like there was a thing I was watching, I forget the guy's name. I'm so bad at names. About hydrogen power. And the problem with hydrogen power, like vehicles and everything, is we cannot. It violates the law of thermodynamics to have the motor produce the fuel or something. So this guy, again, I'm gonna have to find the names and stuff to give them their credit. But he's built his own like hydrogen fuel cell where it makes the fuel like in the back of his truck, with like solar power and stuff, and then he gets like crazy mileage. Again, TikTok. All over TikTok. Yeah, there's
so much out there.
There's just so much, and there's people doing their thing, but you know, I think at the end of the day, it's going to come down to governments, and
that's what's going to make the biggest.
I think other countries are ahead of us. Not that it's a race, but it you know,
it's a race for all of us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
for survival. Yeah, we could really deep dive and just we could get like woo-woo about it, we could get green, we could get sad, we could get stupid. I mean, there's so many ways to have this discussion, and there is a book I've read a bunch of it. I haven't finished it. Saving Us. I'll have to find the author. We're gonna start writing. I think I'm gonna start writing like a big like a blog on the show, like on the website, just to give like a recap
blog post. Yeah, because then we can
talk about.
Then we give a recap what we talked about, and also like we can find all those different things that we've talked about, right? With the plastic, the plastic scooper, and all that stuff, and post like either articles or like little like reference, like this is who we're talking about, just to give them their credit.
Yeah, but it was a really good book. She talks about kind of how to approach the conversation to people about climate change, and definitely the people that wouldn't receive it well and still don't for some reason. But it's a good one. I'll find that author. She has it very well written, and I mean, braiding sweetgrass, that's another one. She talks a lot about just the Native American way of being just like one with the wild, and how it's just as much alive as we are, and it's teaching us every day, and we're helping it then in return. Like these are gifts from the earth that we receive all the time, but we've gotten so used to as a society of just taking, and we don't give anything back. And so that's where we're going, and I think we should end it there. Because I'm sweaty.
Yeah, it's yeah. I guess we'll do a quick little Happy Earth plug. We mentioned it briefly, but Happy Earth, we are affiliates with them, so we get money and you get discount.
Yeah.
So
cute stuff.
Yeah. And
it's all made from organic cotton.
And like recycled.
Yeah, recycled stuff. So they're
fabrics
good.
And all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
And you can choose what your contribution goes towards.
I think it's polar bears or trees.
Yeah, I think it depends on what you buy.
Oh, does it?
I think so.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, we did the trees.
Yeah. Our,
and we got a pin that I gave you.
Our non-ad ad by Happy Earth. Third Eye Sailing is our code. Links are on our website. I think.
Subscribe and follow.
Subscribe, follow.
Instagram. Yep. All right.
Yeah. That's what I got.
All good.
Alrighty.
Bye, fam.
Peace.